Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So before we begin, remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell, give this video a thumbs up if you like the content, and anything you would like to add, feel free to do so down below in the comment section. Now, Netflix just released a new series called Blood and Water. Now, it's only 6 episodes, so let's get into it. So, first episode, we begin with a teenage girl who seems to be upset for some reason, and we're trying to figure out why. And there's a birthday party going on. I'm like, oh, it's her birthday. Like, what is she upset about on her birthday? Like, what's going on? Now, it's not her birthday. Come to find out, they're celebrating the birthday of her older sister who was kidnapped at birth, right? And this day would be her 17th birthday. But apparently they've been doing this every single year since she's been missing. Her parents are divorced. Really more the stress of like doing this every year and looking for the daughter continuously has kind of put stress on their marriage, so they're not together at this point in time. Now, Puling, who is the teenage girl that we're actually following, at this point in time, when we figure out that her parents aren't divorced, she is trying to convince her younger brother Sia that they are that everything's gonna be okay, everything's gonna be fine, that, you know, wishful thinking that their parents are gonna get back together. Now, this is set in Cape Town, South Africa. Now, before really even this day is over with of celebrating her sister's birthday, Puling's father and mother get into it, and so she's blaming her mother that her dad is leaving early and isn't really, you know, spending the day with them. So Puling tells her mom, she's like, okay, since dad left, you caught an attitude with him, this is your fault. I'm gonna go out with my friend Zama. When Puling gets in the car with Zama's like, oh, do you want to talk about what's going on or whatever? And Puling's like, no, I really don't want to talk about it, right? So Zama's like, okay, cool, well, let me dish what's going on with me. Zama's like, I met this new boy Chris, he's cute, he's athletic, he's rich. She was like, and we're gonna go to his party tonight. Also, I like the small details they put in here. Like they, you know, like how we text and we send memes back and forth to each other. They sent current memes back and forth to each other. And then also Zama was talking about the fact that her and Chris met by the fact that she was stalking his Instagram, and like she was like weeks and weeks into his Instagram pictures, and she accidentally liked a photo. And I know some of us can relate on that. You be looking through stuff and you're like, okay, let me look. You be years back into somebody's page, and then you accidentally like a photo, you caught red-handed. Now they know you on their page snooping, looking all through their shit. Puling was right when she told Zama, she was like, you barely know this boy and you're running off to a party. I was like, yes, because girls and boys who just met each other at parties, you know, things always go wrong. But they show up at the party. It's a whole line outside. I was like, okay, to this beautiful house. And they get up to the door and there's a bouncer. Well, Zama's name is on the list. Puling's name isn't. So he lets Zama in. Zama's like, wait right here. I'll be right back. She goes, she grabs Chris, and she's like, she takes him back. And I did not like the way that Chris looked Puling up and down like, I was like, ew. But he's like, he tells the bouncer, okay, just let her in. So as soon as they get in there, Chris sweet talks Zama, and Puling is left to roam around this party on her own. And I was like, oh, a recipe for disaster. Puling goes to the bar to get a drink, and some random girl comes up and she helps her get her a drink. So Puling just walks off. You know, she's running through the house, and she ends up finding Zama getting some lip action, but not the lips on her face from Chris. And I was like, dang girl, y'all didn't waste no time. So she runs off and finds herself in another room, you know, thinking she's about to relax. And then she sees again some guy and some girl about to hook up. But whatever's going on between them, like the guy freaks out because he sees Puling seeing them, and he's like, oh, somebody's here. So she runs off. She sits on the couch finally, and then she hears, she winds up with some random guy's phone. So she's walking around this party looking for some guy named Wade. Well, she finds him, And she's like, hey, dude, your mom's calling you. So he answers the phone and she's like, I don't know where you at, but you need to get your aid to the house right now. I was like, oh, yeah, that's a black mom for you. Get your ass to the house right now for you really be. So this guy's name is Wade, and he's a photographer, and they're getting to know each other, and he's like, oh, he knows Chris because Chris invited him, you know, just there to take pictures and photos and stuff. Now, Wade mentions how Puling looks like Fikili. Fikili is a girl who helped Puling at the bar. Well, come to find out, this whole party is for Fikili. It's her 17th birthday. Now, Puling asked Wade, she was like, is her birthday today, or is it, you know, sometime during the week, the weekend, or whatever? And Wade's like, no, today is her birthday. So we already see where this is going. Connect the dots. Now, Puling, after this party is over, she thought she was gonna sneak back in her bedroom like everything was gonna be fine, right? Mama was waiting for her in the dark when she came in. She like, where you been at? Now, Puling tells her mom, she's like, I feel like you and Dad love Fumi. Is it Fumi? Fumi. If I get the name wrong, I promise I'll get it right in the next one. But I'm gonna say Fumi. Fume more than you love me and Sia. She's like, I feel like y'all put more energy into her than you do me and my brother. Now, at school, we see Puling, she's playing at her game, and she's having a hard time focusing so bad that she even scores a goal for the other team. And during this time, you can keep telling that people are looking at her and looking at their phones. So I'm like, okay, what's up? Well, once the game is over and she's in the locker room, there's this girl, Nate, who just so happens to be from the mountain of Caucasus. And Nate's like, I wish your dad would have sold you off into slavery instead of your sister. And I was like, what is going on? So when she said that, of course they got into it. So Nate got her little ass whooped, as she should, for talking mess. I was like, okay, that's what you get. But apparently whatever it was that Nate had said had come out in the news about, they were accusing Puling's dad of selling her sister off into slavery, and she wasn't actually abducted. I was like, oh, wow, that's crazy. In the principal's office, right? Because that's where they both ended up. He said something dumb about Puling attacked Nate. I was like, Nate definitely slapped Puling first and then got her ass whooped. Now she want to come in your office and play victim. I was like, sounds about right, but okay, whatever. The principal also lets us know that Puling's grades are slipping, and she's going to have to go to a hearing. And if she doesn't come to the hearing, then she'll be expelled. I was like, oh, girl, you gotta get your life together. Puling's dad tells her, he's like, everything that you're seeing out in the news is all a lie. He's like, that's all a lie. He was like, but the police might have something else on me. And I'm like, sir, okay, if they don't have you for out here selling your baby into slavery, what else do they have on you? Like, what other criminal activity are you involved in? Like, what is going on? I was like, okay, already in the first episode, y'all messing with me because y'all know I'm out here trying to be Nancy Drew and I can't put it together. Puling finally gains the courage to go in Fumi's room. They still have the room up. And she goes in, and on the wall, y'all, it was this big thing of, you know how, like, when the detectives are doing detective work, how they have that big old board, and it's, like, got all the pictures on it, and notes, and, like, the little lines that draw to each other. So it had tons of pictures of, like, different little girls, and, you know, different articles, and different leads of, you know, who the child could have been, and where she maybe ended up. So I was like, oh, wow, like, they're really, like, they've really been going at it, you know, for the past 17 years trying to find their daughter, which I understand. Wade DMs Puling on Instagram, and he invites her to a gala, a swim gala at his school. And so she accepts, and when she accepts, well, before she accepts, she goes through Wade's stuff and she finds a picture of Fikili. So she sees that Fikili is on the swim team. So of course then she accepts. And then she's kind of going through Fikili's page as well, you know, looking at her Instagram and all her pictures and stuff. Now, in that room of Fumi's, there's, you know how they always do that sketch of, like, if someone were to be missing, like, if they were to age, what they would look like currently. Well, they have one of those photos, and not to me, but maybe y'all see it, but to Puling, Fikili looks like, the sketch. So I was like, okay, so this is the story that we're going with. Now the next day when Zama and Puling are talking, they let us know more about Fakili and who she is. Apparently she comes from a very rich home. She is a great swimmer, apparently so great that she's like being considered as a candidate for the Olympics. And I think she's a honor student as well. So I was like, okay, she's got a pretty good head on her shoulders. She's a good athlete. But of course, you know, she has that backing of money. And of course, to both of them, her life looks like it's super duper perfect. Well, Puling decides, okay, I need to get on it. I ain't got time to be wasting. I want to do a DNA test. I was like, okay. So she actually goes online and she finds out what all you have to have for a DNA test. So she sees that she's got to have $2,500. She's got to have, of course, the DNA sample. She's got to have her mom's signature of a parent if they're underage, things like that. She sees all that. Of course, in order to get a DNA sample, you have to be around this person in order to get their DNA. So this is when she officially tells Wade, like, okay, I'll be at your gala tomorrow. So at the gala, which is a swim meet, but I'm assuming there they call it a gala. But at the swim meet, Fakili gets in the water. She is definitely faster than the other swimmers, and she wins her swim meet. So everybody is super excited, right? And so Puling is acting like she's helping Wade out, and she's like, oh, I'll help you, you know, take the pictures and stuff like that. So Wade's like, okay, I want to go over here to Fakili and I want to get her a picture of her, right? Fakili went somewhere, she left her bag, and Wade ran off to do something too, right? So Puling was just about to rummage through Fakili's bag, I guess, to try to get a DNA, some type of DNA sample. And Fakili walked up. She's like, hey, girl, can you hand me my bag? So I was like, oh, you almost had it, but you got to give it back now. So you got to come up with something else on how to get this DNA. Y'all, this is the same day that Puling is supposed to be at her school having this meeting with her parents and, like, the school, well, like, her principal about, you know, her grade slipping and stuff like that and her actions in school. And her dad starts to call her and she's like, oh, shoot, I forgot. So she runs, and she makes it to school, right? Well, she's late, but they go in there and they talk. And apparently, she's not suspended, but she almost got suspended, right? Well, when they're walking out, the police show up. And, of course, everybody is standing around doing what we do best with our phones out, videoing, right? And so they tell him, like, you're being arrested for suspicion of, child trafficking or human trafficking. And she's out there yelling like, someone do something, like, Dad, I know you didn't do this. And of course people are taking footage of all of this that's going on. When they get to the station, Puling's mama is telling us oh, we're gonna have to keep you and your brother away from your daddy. I was like, dang, girl, like, you were just throw him up under the bus and throw him away just like that. I was like, is divorce, like, was the marriage really that bad? Now, I don't know what's going on, but Puling's parents are hiding something, and it's obviously about whatever it is that her dad said that the police could have on him. And I'm just like, what is that about? When they get ready to leave the station, Puling, she asked her mom, she's like, do you think Dad did it? Now, Puling's mom went all around, up and down the question, because she definitely didn't say, no, I don't think your dad did it. She just said, oh, he says we should trust him. I was like, okay, so do you think he sold your child off? I was like, what is going on? Like, it's not adding up. Something is afoot. Now, back at home that night, once again, Puling is doing, you know, just her big sister role. She's telling her brother everything's gonna be fine. Dad's gonna be okay. You know, he'll be home soon. You know, just everything that an older sibling would do to you know, soothe their younger sibling when, you know, things go you know, things are a mess in the household. Sia pushed this story right along into the premise of what this is, right? Sia says, so we're just supposed to sit around here and wait while Daddy just sit in jail? He's like, there's nothing that we can do. And Puling was like, you know, you're right. So Puling is like, went out here and researched how to get this DNA test. I went over there and tried to get the DNA, but I failed. I need to get back over there and get this DNA so I can get this test. So she tells her brother, she's like, I'm gonna figure out something. So she goes out and she tells her mom, she's like, have you heard of Parkhurst High School? They say college, but high school. And I was like, oh, she about to be Nancy Drew, Inspector Gadget, Sherlock Holmes. I was like, she about to be out here inspecting to be spec, right? Harriet the Spy. I was like, she about to get all the DNA plus some. And the whole premise of this 6th episode of this series is that this girl is trying to figure out if this other girl, Pauline is trying to figure out if Fakili is her long lost sister. So we are about to find out. So I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.